Welcome to the ninth episode of our OnFARM series with RHASS, the Royal Highland and Agricultural Society of Scotland. I'm Anna Davis, and before we start this time, I'm making a quick plea for help. You've been amazing at supporting us on social media, especially on Twitter and Facebook, and we're really grateful for that, thank you. But there are so many people across Scottish farming who aren't yet on social media. We know, or at least we hope, that they'd love OnFARM if only they knew about us and knew how to find us on their phone or their device. I'm thinking about maybe older people who aren't so keen on trying new things. As COVID lockdown starts to ease and you're getting face to face with people, please do ask them if they know about the OnFARM podcast. Show them how to find us on their phone or device. The more tech savvy amongst you will know that podcasts are dead easy. Once you sign up, we'll just land on your device every week for you to listen to. Simple as that. But some people might be less familiar with the idea and could need a bit of help from you. So thank you. Now, on with the show. Today on OnFARM, we are heading over to the countryside area, which on a busy show day has a different feel to it. It's also busy, but it just seems to have an air of tranquility to it and gives people the opportunity to take a breather and to really absorb what's going on. And I am joined by Martin Dare. Martin, I wonder if you could start off by just introducing yourself and letting us know who you are and what you do in the context of the countryside area.
I am the Managing Director of Rural Projects, and we organise the Countryside Arena and Rural Skills Marquee on behalf of the Royal Highland Agricultural Society. The countryside area is quite unique within the Royal Highland Showground in the fact that it's landscaped. It's not like your traditional showground. It's covered around trees, it's quite hilly, there's a loch-in. So it's definitely a different area compared to the busy trade stands that exist elsewhere. It's not a kind of commercial area of the showground, so people are there really to relax.
There's a lot that goes on. You know, you've got shopping and trade stands, you've got a bit of food and drink, you've got poultry marquee, you've got honey producers, you often have activities such as stunt bikes, and the army will exhibit. So logistically, you know, how do you choose? How do you select the people who you think are just going to hit the right note in terms of being interesting for members of the public?
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice description you've made of our area. It's very much at a slower pace. We have the two areas, I suppose you could divide it into two. We have the arena, the countryside arena, and that's a timed programme of activities that go on, and that might feature birds of prey displays, display of ferreting skills. We have gun dog display, terrier racing. But around that arena, we also have a whole lot of attractions that I suppose could be described as kind of rural skills. And again, they're quite wide-ranging. Kind of bushcraft skills, wood carving skills, boat building, wheelwright people have been involved as well. And that's kind of free running. It's nicely spaced out, so the public can come in, have a look at what's going on in the arena, and just mingle around those different areas which surround the arena. And in terms of putting that content together, the brief really that we've been given from the Highland Society and the committee that we work to is to make it hands-on, make it interactive. Again, the wood turning, we've had stone carving. Archaeology Scotland have provided lots of content for children over the years. But one of the other aspects of the brief is to keep bringing the changes, to make sure that, okay, you'll always have some continuity going from one year to the next. But it's definitely part of our remit is to keep new things coming into the countryside arena and make it different for people.
Yeah, because I think that's important. You'll have visitors who don't attend the Highland Show every year, but you'll also have people who very much do. We've been touching quite a lot on sort of the broader work of the Royal Highland Society, and we've looked at what they do out with just organising the Highland Show, out with organising the Highland Show. And a lot of what they do is all about history and heritage. They've got a great heritage themselves. And I just wondered if there was any part of your brief that looks at choosing craftspeople and rural skills people who have that kind of heritage element to what they do, And if that's important in terms of showcasing some of Scotland's sort of hidden rural crafts and skills.
I suppose we do realise they're a fairly special bunch of people, and we get the passion that they have for what they're doing. And I think, again, that's one of the things that makes it work, because that passion spills over into their performances in the arena and the demonstrations that they give. And there is a community, really, that's a strong feeling that we get as organisers, when you get all the people that perform in the countryside area together for, I mean, it's 4 days of the show, but they're there for build-up and breakdown, so we get to meet them and interact with them for a longer period. They kind of form their own community, so they're kind of networking while they're there and looking at different, I suppose, business opportunities. That gives the whole aspect of what they're doing real validity, I think, and kind of underlines that the business aspects. It's not something that's just locked up in a box and put away as part of a kind of historical heritage. It is something that is still actually being used on a day-to-day basis. There is a good atmosphere. It's just a good atmosphere in that area, the show, and it's probably a mixture of different things. It's the public enjoying themselves, but also the exhibitors and the people that are presenting are enjoying it as well.
Martin calls the countryside area exhibitors a special bunch of people. They certainly are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. The bulk of this podcast coming up is chats with three of them: a falconer, someone who works with wool, and the first voice you'll hear, a boat builder, telling us all about their work and their relationship with the Highland Show.
I am Ben Wilde. I am a traditional boat builder, have been for about 12 years or so now, and I run a social enterprise called Archipelago Folk School. We are a social enterprise that run boat building courses around Scotland. I went to the Northwest School of Wooden Boat Building, which, as you can probably guess, is a school of wooden boat building in the Northwest of America. So it's in Washington State.
Am I right in thinking then that your business sort of has your social enterprise has two elements to it? One is you're passing those skills that you've learned over many years on to other people and allowing them the opportunity to learn some of these crafts. And then do you also build boats on commission in any way, or is that not part of it?
Yeah, we do a bit of commission boat building. The core of our activity is like boat building courses, which we do both for like paying customers who we run like a holiday basically. You can come and join us for a week and build yourself a boat in a week and take it home with you. We also do courses for like community groups, where we'll go into communities and work with disadvantaged groups of various backgrounds, building boats. And then kind of around that, if I've got time, we'll do a bit of commercial work. But we're not really a commercial boat building shop. We're an educational shop.
I'm Rosie Hazelton, Wild Rose Escapes, and we run craft courses, holidays and retreats near Cannock, just in Strathglass. And we live in a woodland where we run most of our courses. We focus a lot on wool crafts, so we run spinning courses, we run felting, natural dyeing, natural printing courses, and also retreats, which include kind of walking and yoga as well.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Well, I have 2 pet sheep and we've just had them clipped this week. So I think I probably need to cover one of your spinning classes, because the wool's just sitting there and it seems like such a waste to not do something with it.
We have a small flock of Shetland sheep, so we mostly use Shetland fleece on our courses because it's very versatile.
Yes, oh lovely. Nice colour as well. Yeah. So Rosie, how did you get into this in the first place? What's been your sort of path to get where you are?
So I've always done a lot of craft and art. My mum's an artist, and I studied archaeology at university, and my interest was ancient art forms. Then when I moved up to Scotland about 15 years ago, I lived near a farm and I started investigating natural dyeing, and I also had a lot of fleece which I took from the local sheep that the lady who ran the farm gave me. So I started learning to dye it, and then I met a lady who dyed fleece and fabric up near Loch Inver, and she taught me some of what she knew. And I just like the idea of learning a whole process, so learning about the plants and then dyeing the fleece and then doing something with the fleece, either felting or spinning it, and that's what interests me. And at the time people weren't getting very much for fleece, which is true today as well, so it was looking at ways of using it. So I started off with wool crafts, but I've since expanded, and we do eco printing, which is printing on silk and cotton and fleece, actually using plants. We've incorporated also kind of walking and yoga, so a lot of it is about being outdoors.
My name is Ben Potter, and along with my partner Rebecca Worgan, we have a small company doing eagle and vulture displays throughout the whole of the UK, game fairs, country shows, agricultural events such as the Highland and similar. And we do commercial bird scaring when we are at the events doing the displays. So we work on helipads and large industrial units and food production sites and things like that. So I'm sat in a distribution yard at a factory that makes steel sheet and insulation panels, waiting to go on the roof and upset some seagulls.
Wow, so very much bringing, I suppose, a more traditional activity into the modern era, because you're using the skills that you've got and the birds that you've trained to help with modern industry.
Since I was 15, that's all I've done. I've had one job in my life, obviously when I was a child part-time, but I've one job in my adult life, which has been to work with falcons and hawks and eagles predominantly. I've got a few owls and bits and bobs, but I didn't want to just be the guy who goes around doing, Sunday galas and events and shows. I wanted to do it to the best of my ability and with some of the world's biggest and most beautiful and unusual birds. And I also wanted to be able to pay the bills, basically, by doing this too, with a moral direction. So I didn't want to stand on a supermarket sticking an owl on a kid's arm for £2. Over the last, 12, 15 years, built the bird control side up to where it's probably 70-30 in favour of the bird control that we get most of our income from. And then the eagle and vulture display side of things gives us the opportunity to have a little breeding project with some fantastic pairs of eagles that we can keep and fund by doing the displays with those birds themselves. So it sort of like looks after its whole self.
Yeah. If we were to come back, if I was to come and see you at the Highland Show next year, fingers crossed, what kind of thing would I expect to see from your displays?
Okay, so we've slightly changed it as the years have gone on, and we've got, I guess, more comfortable at doing these bigger events, and we've tried to tailor the whole display into a real nice themed educational little journey with it. So what we tend to do, myself and Rebecca, we have a large purpose-built vehicle, pull that into the arena. The birds are in an air-conditioned unit on the back, that slides out the back, and then over the next 35 to 40 minutes, tell a little bit of a story about the individual and also the role it plays in the wild and so on. So we begin usually with a bald eagle or similar, give that a bit of a fly about, talk a little bit about bald eagles, and they're a fantastic success story as far as conservation goes. They've come back from the brink and now are incredibly common throughout the United States. And then we look at some of Africa's vultures, and we begin a little story of what happens when an animal dies in the wild wilderness of Africa, the first on the scene, and we fly that bird, and while that one's doing its thing, the second to arrive on the scene, and we bring that one in, and then a third one, and we have all three flying together.
See if we can get that weight moving. Right, jump guys, it's very low. Well done. Right, keep going you, keep going. That's a bit more like it.
And then we finish the whole display off usually with the world's largest species of eagle, which is a Steller's sea eagle. I have a pair of these. And I think, if I remember rightly, 2 or 3 years ago, we were doing displays at the Highland, and it was like 43 mile an hour gusts of wind. They're so confident and they're so fit by that part of the year. They just fly beautifully well. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. There's like polystyrene and cardboard boxes getting blown about and marquees getting taken down, and we're doing a display with them. And what we're trying to show you is the bird behave the most natural way it possibly can, under a degree of control, in a very unusual environment.
Then when it comes in to get herself out the sky, she will dangle her legs, wiggle her bum to try and displace a bit of air and get herself back into this arena with a beautifully well-timed flight and a fantastic finish. Oh, good girl.
It's a combination, I suppose, between a visual display, which is kind of what people expect, but then also a bit of an educational journey whereby people who are watching have learned a little bit more about conservation, and they've learned a little bit more about bird species and about the ways in which you have trained them, I guess.
The way I tried to do it, I mean, I had a funny upbringing and I didn't have a particularly great education.